Hey guys, um, decided to make a part two. I didn't call my other video part one. I'm going to change it, put a part one on the end of it. So, if you didn't see the previous one, you'll need to watch that, or you should watch it. You know, um, so I cover a lot of information, um, amazing connections to pointing to December 30th, and I found a little bit more information, so I thought I would include that. So, anyways, we'll take it from the apple rolling. Um, Again, I'm not going to talk about a lot of what I talked about in my other video, so you're going to have to watch that. So, but anyways, I established, uh, I showed that Easter was a marker point, and the apple rolled next to the LC, and LC equals 1, or L equals 12, C equals 3. 123 days after Easter was August 2nd, and Apple became the first trillion-dollar company. As I said, I believe this apple is a metaphor for the company Apple as well as the city of New York. So, then 7 months after Easter, I was curious to see if we'd see something. Actually, I was more than curious. I made a big video on 11.1 because I had a lot of connections, but I thought that could be the event. It wasn't. It was a marker point. But anyways, 7 months after Easter was 11.1. The apple splits, and this shows that this is 11.01. And the company Apple, after hours in the stock market, dropped 7%. Uh, Again, I don't believe that's a coincidence. And Apple is now, I think, trading in the low 170s, maybe 171, 172. And that's quite a big drop. It was at 222. It was at 222.22, 2,222 weeks after it was founded, and that was on 11.1 also. It just was really strange. I think it was all timed like that. But anyways, I then talked about how the V equals 23, and I added 23 more days until 11.1, which is 11.23. I made a video on that, and it was just a marker point. But when I'm looking at it now, I'm thinking, well, this should be the end of the code, not the middle, because this is a reference to the tsunami. It could be both. There's so many different layers and facets to this. Uh, but if we take it from 11.1 and look, Obama, see his foot pointing here, so he's looking the other direction. We see it as an LC, but he sees it as a backwards C and 7. So that C equals 3 and 37. So you got 37. And 37 days after 11.1, not 11.19. Is actually today, 37 days. Will anything happen today? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Um, could, but that's not my final date. But anyways, he's looking down at the backward. He's looking at the C7, which is 37. So now we are at the 12.8 marker point. Then the V was representing the tsunami. 12/8, and I already figured it out. And add 22 days later, it's December 30th. And I showed how mega tsunami equals 1, 2, 3, 12, 30. You don't count the 0 in numerology, so 30 can be 3. And there's, I showed about, in my other video, you'd have to see it. I go over the Simpsons. The Simpsons' second trip to New York is what really helped me verify that this date is probably the date. There's a lot of verifications. Uh, um, so yeah, and I've seen a lot of instances of 12/3 and some of many things pointing to 12/30. So so we got the 12/30 date is then. I'll slow it down because this goes by so fast. It's even hard to catch when it's that speed. There. It goes by so fast and upside down. So this, I think this is the end part of the code to January 9th. I don't know if anything is going to happen on the 9th, but it could be, I don't know. It could be like 10 days of tribulation, 10 days the flood waters, 10 days of martial law. I don't know. 10, something with 10, because 12/30 is definitely my date. But we have 10 days at showing after this because j equals 10. Um, so a new piece of information that I want to show you is here concerning the clock. Oh, I still got it in slow-mo. There we are. So people look at this, think, oh, it's going to go down on midnight. Not necessarily. I happen to think it's going to happen in the dawn and during the sunrise. This video. It's all about the sun, and 12/30 is Sunday. So, anyways, this could be a reference to the 12th month and a D for December. Obviously, it's a dunce cap, but it's multiple meanings. That's why they put the dunce cap on it for December. 12th month is December. And look what we got here. We got a reflection right centered over the 30-minute mark. So there's a verification of 12/30. And I showed you the J falling afterwards. What J equals 10. Look at 10 minutes after. We have another. We have another reflection right over centered over the 40-minute mark. So that's interesting. So that's my first verification that I've seen an iPad Go 2 of 12/30. I mean, other than doing the math. I mean, just first one, just looking at something directly and seeing a 12. I see 12/3, you know, and but this is a, yeah. I mean, we're looking right at a clock too, so that's maybe why they did that. So it's a new piece of information that I discovered. Something else new. I talked about the moon phase and how, go back. I showed this before, but not going to go over everything, just a couple things. But this is probably why the sea was white. It's representing the moon. It's the crescent moon, and on 12:30 we have that crescent moon. Oh wait, I'm sorry. This is October 3rd. It's the same, but I wanted to show you that too. Yeah, 12:30, same crescent moon, and I showed you we had the same one on October 3rd. What was October 3rd? That was Trump's. That was the presidential cell phone alert put on by FEMA sent out that to everyone's phone. So you got a warning on October 3rd, and the moon was exactly the same. I mean, exactly. We got 38%. Not that it was just the shape, the exact illumination of 38% on December 30th. And October 3rd. The only other moon phase which was exact was on 7/7. So that's another new piece of information that I thought was interesting. I don't think I talked about this before. Unless I did, I don't know. Got the Colossus of Rhodes. The Colossus of Rhodes was a statue of the Greek sun god Helios. Again, I Pet Goat 2 was made by Heliofont, which J.K. Bugout talked about, meaning sun speaking. Helio is all about the sun. So as a statue of the Greek sun god Helios erected in the city of Rhodes. And it collapsed during the earthquake of 226 BC, although its parts of it were preserved, it was never rebuilt. So you got this crown, or this, it looks very similar to the Statue of Liberty. And I'll show you the new Colossus is actually a plaque. No, that's not what I'm looking for. New Colossus, Statue of Liberty, poem. This is it. The New Colossus is a sonnet that American poet Emma Lazarus wrote in 1883 to raise money for the construction of a pedestal for the Statue of Liberty. In 1903, the poem was cast onto a bronze plaque mounted inside the pedestal's lower level. So the old Colossus of Rhodes, the giant Greek statue, destroyed by an earthquake. Now we have this, the new Colossus. It looks similar, especially with the head. Is the poem is inside on a plaque inside the Statue of Liberty. So I thought, So I have what I believe is coming is a tsunami. But how is the tsunami going to be caused? An asteroid? An underwater explosion? An earthquake? So, because this was destroyed by an earthquake, I decided to see if I could find some connections to an earthquake. So I looked at the movie Earthquake, 1974. November 15th, 1974. November 15th, 1974. To our target date. And look what we have here. We have two 2,302 weeks and 2 days. And if you didn't watch my other video, I talk about how I made many connections using the number of 322, which is skull and bones. And Bush, George Herbert Walker Bush, was also a member of the 322 Skull and Bones Club. And I often see 1 3 and multiple 2s, and it's just something I just figured out on my own just by looking at patterns and studying patterns. And so I'll show you some instances, and I'll go over this one I talked about in my other video. Anyways, this is Bin Laden's birthday, right here, March 10th, 1957. 2,322 weeks and 2 days. And so trade centers were hit by a plane. So look at the Air Force. They were founded on September 18th, 1947. Also the same foundation as this. The Alphabet Agency, September 18th, 1947. So we'll put in September 18th, 1947. And 19,717 days, which you have to go a little bit deeper to find the answer. 19,717 days is the 2,232nd prime. You think that's a coincidence? The Titanic. I'll show you something else. Titanic was sunk. It hit the iceberg on April 14, 1912. It sunk on April 15, 1912. We'll put in April 15th, 1912. Then we have another famous sinking of a boat. Lusitania, hit by a torpedo during the First World War. May 7th, 1915. May 7th, 1915. We got 3 years and 22 days. There's a conspiracy saying that the Titanic was sunk to bring about the Federal Reserve, because many people that were aboard the boat, the Titanic, were rich people, influential people that were opposed to the Federal Reserve. So, the Federal Reserve created December 23rd, 1913. This is when it hit the iceberg. I think that was the connection. December 23rd, 1913. And I showed in my other video, I often switch the dates. Reverse, put this over here. And I've done this many times. April 14th. There we go. 3 months and 22 days apart from when the Federal Reserve was created, to the Titanic sinking, or the Titanic hitting the iceberg. I'll show you something else. The Vegas shooting. Stephen Paddock. I know I'm going off a little bit more than talking about iPad Goat 2, but I'm proving a point. Okay. So it happened at 10:05 in Pacific time. It was October 2nd on the East Coast, October 1st on the West Coast when the Vegas shooting happened. And Stephen Paddock, the shooter, his birth date was April 9th, 1953. 1953. I put in 10-2. That's what I found to be the connection. Again, it was 2 different time zones in the U.S., but then I reversed it like I showed you. 10-2, 4-9. Oh, I got the wrong year. It was 2017. There we go. 23,200 days. 1, 3, and multiple 2s. They use moons and suns as marker points. Eclipses. We had, I'm not even going to, I'm just going to show you. We had, if you remember, we had on February 5th, 2018, yeah, this year, we had the largest market drop, 1,175 points. And we had 4 total solar eclipses over the United States since 1918. The next one will be in 2024. And you all remember the one we had last year in August 21st, August 21st, I can't even talk, 2017. So we had a total solar eclipse over the United States, 1979, 25. Again, this was the largest point drop in history, the market. It was 2000, in 32 weeks apart. And this is the future solar eclipse. Exactly 322 weeks prior to that one. So yeah, right in between. So they use these as marker points, eclipses, for their supermoons. Yep. Just trying to figure out an event and a date. It's extremely hard, even if you know this information. So it was. I wouldn't have done it without iPad Goat 2 and The Simpsons. So I'll go over something else I talked about in my video. So this was the date iPad Goat 2 was released to our target date, 12/30. We have 6 years, 6 months, and 6 days. 666. And if you saw in the beginning of the video, if you can't see it here, but you can, it's 666 is right, the barcode right on the goat's head. And down here, you got a dog, or in the ear of the dog. Everything's lining up perfect. And what's the zodiac sign of the goat? There's only one, and it's the Capricorn. Its symbol is the sea goat. December 21st to January 20th. So it's right in that time frame. I mean, the whole theme of this is wintertime. So, some extra information I'm showing you here, and you have to watch my other video. I got tons of information. So, the connections are amazing, and I have to say, for if you're in New York, if you're in Long Island, New York, or you're by the East Coast, um, just keep your eyes open, see what's going on. Watch the stock market. Stock market is a huge indicator. You know, the same people who are the masterminds of this, they're rich and they're making their money off stocks. They're selling their stocks, they're buying it. They know they're all in it together, and it's all they probably it's so manipulated. As I showed, um, that connection to the solar eclipse. They have, I'm sure that they have days in the future, like, oh, this day, maybe they know a day 3 months from now, oh, it's going to go way up, or another day, it's going to go way down. They already know. That it's all planned according. So that's all I got. So, yeah, just take care, everyone.